Hello everyone, welcome back to I Create For You. We're back in the Lighthouse Ghosts and Legends book again. I'm going to do the story that I skipped in the past one. So let me find this one. And it's called Here Walks the Ghost of William Teach. Now I'm going to turn my light on to it now. I was giving a glare before on the cover because the cover's shiny in the book. And this is the lighthouse that's featured. It's Ocracoke Light at Ocracoke Island, North Carolina. After the story, I will sketch William Teach. Ocracoke Island was discovered in 1585 when a group of English explorers erected ship into the island's sandy shores. However, it remained undeveloped for roughly 2 centuries. Today, Ocracoke is one of North Carolina coast's oldest communities, and with only about 800 year-round residents, it maintains a markedly slower pace than the mainland. Sometimes when lightning knocks out power on the island, residents rely on the Ocracoke light to get them through the night, just as they used to do in the old days. Such occasions afford the perfect opportunity to gather around the fire and tell blood-curdling tales of the island's past. The first lighthouse in Ocracoke Inlet was built on Shell Castle Island in 1794. But due to a migration of the channel, it was useless by 1818, the year it was struck and destroyed by lightning. By 1822, the government had appropriated $20,000 for a new structure on Ocracoke Island. It was built by Noah Porter for $11,359.35. Today, at 179 years of age, it is the second oldest working lighthouse in the country. It is also at 75 feet, the shortest lighthouse on the North Carolina coast. The waters off North Carolina coast have sunk more than 2,000 ships since authorities started keeping records in 1526. Here in the Outer Banks, ships hug the coastline to avoid the havoc of the warm Gulf Stream and icy Labrador Current. Add to that the area's ever-changing sandbars and dangerous diamond shoals, and the coast is ripe for maritime disaster. Excuse me. Not surprisingly, it's come to be known as the Graveyard of the Atlantic. With a name like that, it's bound to host a number of local legends, not the least of which concerns the country's most famous brigand, Edward Teach, otherwise known as Blackbeard the Pirate. Over the years, many versions of Blackbeard's story have evolved. One version even goes so far as to suggest that he is responsible for Ocracoke's unusual name. According to legend, on the morning of his death before dawn, the pirate tossed and turned, impatient for daylight. Finally, at his wit's end, he cried, "O cockcrow," thus giving the island its name. Oops, I guess I was pronouncing it wrong. While the tale is likely a tall one, this is certain. Blackbeard called Ocracoke home and met with a grisly death on its shores. During the 1700s, Ocracoke, now I'm not going to get all tongue-tied with that. Ocracoke was one of the busiest inlets on the East Coast. At that time, it was the only accessible waterway to Carolina port cities like Edmonton and New Bern. Eventually, it got a reputation. With the large number of vessels carrying goods to be sold, crime was inevitable. Pirates attacked and robbed ships and kidnapped and even murdered sailors. The most infamous marauder of them all was a wealthy Englishman, Edward Teach, whose name came to be known and feared in the Outer Banks. A restless spirit drove Teach from a privileged life. Bored with tradition, he turned to a life at sea, pillaging unsuspecting ships for sport. Though he wanted for little as an hour's though he wanted for little as an aristocrat, he made an unprecedented fortune pirating, and he built grand homes with dirty money in Bath, North Carolina, and Ocracoke Island. He is even said to have had 13 wives. Blackbeard delighted in his attacks. In fact, he made a production of them. Just before boarding a trade ship, he tied red ribbons to his long black beard and braided slow-burning fuses into the hair, lighting the fuses with matches. Fire and smoke curled around his face, giving him the appearance of a devil. He wore daggers at his side and kept a variety of pistols strapped to his chest. Loaded, cocked, and ready were the pistols. Word of his monstrosity spread, prompting many a targeted captain to surrender on sight or jump overboard. At the height of his career, Blackbeard commanded 400 pirates and 4 ships. North Carolina residents were acutely aware of Blackbeard's debauchery, and they wanted it stopped. But each had powerful allies, such as Royal Governor Charles Eden, and his offenses went unpunished. Eventually unable to bear the grisly tales of his conquest another day, angry locals turned to the governor of Virginia, a man by the name of Alexander Spotswood. Lacking the men to outfit such a campaign, he made a plea to the English government, which ultimately sent Lieutenant Maynard to search for and capture or kill Blackbeard. Maynard sailed down the Atlantic coast searching for the pirates' ominous black flag. He looked for days. Then, early one November morning in 1718, the crew spotted Blackbeard's ship, Queen Anne's Revenge, anchored among the inlets. They fired a cannonball, and Blackbeard's crew fired back, tearing a hole in Maynard's vessel. Maynard and his crew ran aground on a nearby sandbar. There they waited the inevitable. When a fire lit, Blackbeard and his crew boarded the vessel from Virginia. Maynard and his men were prepared for combat. Daggers drawn, pistols cocked, the two forces fought a savage, bloody battle. At last, Maynard came face to face with the pirate. He advanced, but Blackbeard was quicker. Swinging his sword across Maynard's, Blackbeard broke the lieutenant's blade in half. Maynard was helpless and stunned. With a glimmer in his eye, Blackbeard bore down upon his enemy. Just then, one of Maynard's crewmen came from behind, and with one clean swipe, beheaded the fiend. Maynard watched in awe as Blackbeard's head dropped to the deck. The crew rejoiced over their victory and dumped the pirate's body overboard, where, according to legend, it swam 3 times around the ship before sinking into the dark waters of the Atlantic. As a final gesture, the crew tied Blackbeard's head to the bowsprit. It dangled off the end as a trophy and symbol of their success. For days the ship sailed, brandishing the rotting head, its black hair blowing in the wind. It was a challenge to pirates everywhere that their reign over the region was waning. Often, it is told, on stormy nights, when the island is dark, save for the intermittent flash of the lighthouse beacon and residents gathered by the fires. There it is whispered that, beneath the steady beam of the Ocracoke Island light, in among the shadows of the trees walks the headless ghost of Blackbeard, and out across the illumined depths his flaming vessel haunts the coast in search of its missing captain. Sorry for all those blunders. Oh my goodness. Ocracoke Island is accessible only by ferry. One ferry runs several times a day from Cedar Island. The lighthouse is closed to the public, but visitors may walk the grounds. For additional information, visit the National Park Service Visit Center on Ocracoke Island. Okay, so that's pretty interesting that we found a story about Blackbeard. Very interesting. Okay, so I'm going to try to sketch Blackbeard the pirate the best that I can, as always. I have no idea why my voice is so cracky today. I'm hoping that it'll get better, but of course, now that the story's over, it just might. Doing the pirate's hat. Oh, already I goofied a little bit here. It would help if I was in frame and you could see me doing the actual drawing, wouldn't it? Good lordy Lou. Let's see. Make the indentations here and here. And this will go over his forehead, which I will start. Here we go. A little bit of hair there. Shall we go closer? I will try to move it around as I do it so that you don't miss out on it. This is his ear. And some hair, big hair. Okay. Here's the tough part, folks. Doing his face. This grumpy old man here. They didn't really even say what age he was. And if they did, I read it and didn't retain that piece of information. But yeah. Let's see here. Give him some wicked eyebrows. So it seems one bad day or one bad lifestyle or whatever can change a person's life and make them go ways that they soon regret, I guess. Well, I guess he never really regretted being the way he was. That was supposed to be an eyebrow, and I just made it an eyeball. Good Lord. You ever have one of those days where you think, what the heck? What's going on with you? I am having quite a few of them lately. Those are his mean eyes. Get the other ear going over here. Piece of hair. And get the ear. Okay, now we'll work on his mustache. They always have these fancy mustaches, don't they? Okay. There we go. Now, get some more hair going here. He supposedly had a nice head of hair. And kind of made some silliness out of it with putting some fuses in and having them blow out and fizz and make him look like the devil himself. That was different. Funny he didn't catch himself on fire with it being right there at his hair. But he got lucky, I guess. You'll see me go back and forth here when I think of something else to do with the hat or the clothing. I go around here a little bit. And you know what? I'm going to give him some feathers for his hat. There's one. I'm not gonna, I don't know that I'll give him the fusing of his fuses that he had in his mustache area. I won't do that right now, but just work on a pirate look for him. Okay, there's those. Now move on to more of his hair coming out here. Of his grand beard. At least this one will look better than my attempt yesterday that when I was doing my building. Oh, buildings are so hard for me. I don't know why, but they are. Animals, I think, are my best. Because I've been drawing animals since I was a wee one. A little person. So I had more practice, I guess you could say. Try to draw some kind of uniform for him. Okay, just stand out a little bit here. And his arm come around. Alrighty, now bring this up around here. He's gonna have folded up sleeves. Only because that's the way I'm gonna make it. Part of his arm there. So, and then I'll stop with that and go back up. Work on his beard and everything. Let's see. Okay, there's his beard. And I will just do this, you know. I'm pretty sure someone somewhere did this as a pirate with their beard. Made him in a little ponytail. Let's see. In here, I'll make. Right, and then this will all come together once you see it. I'm just like jumping all over the place to draw it. I try to like in certain sections get certain things done. That's his hand, by the way. If it doesn't look like a hand, I'm sorry. Okay, his hands are folded because he means business, you know. Okay, now we'll do the other side here. That comes out like this, I guess. We'll go like this with his outfit. Oh, let's see. And I'm not going to draw the guns because I just don't know if YouTube is okay with that. But I'm not going to draw him having guns. But yes, he had them strapped, they say, more than one in the front of his, at his chest area, I guess. I guess he was too lazy to reload his guns, so he just kept a few on hand. I don't know. Who knows? Only he knows. And he could just pull them out and just keep shooting. The nice guy that he was. Shoot first, ask questions later, I guess. Okay, that's just like a strap that maybe he has a knife in or whatever. Okay, now I'm gonna work on the other side of his. His clothing here. Okay, this one I'll put. Go down here, make it a little 3D here to have this one come out like this one a little bit. Okay. Now his other hand here, I'll make it go around here, and I'll start his rolled up sleeve here, talking my way through it like I do. Okay, the top of the sleeve like that one over there. Now since he has his arms folded, I gotta come up here with his with some fingers here. And I will get rid of this for now because that's where his fingers will go. Jeez Louise. Okay. There's one. There's the other. Get some nails there a little bit. Okay, there he is folding that, and let's see, and I'll have that go up like this, get his arm, his muscular arm. Look how, this doesn't look right here. I gotta make it a little skinnier. That looks like his arm's swollen. This is why I try to do different areas so it doesn't look so bad. Okay, that doesn't look as bad as it did. Actually, his arm here, I can fix that one too, because his elbow should be here, and then this should go down and then up a little bit, and that makes that arms a little, just a little bit thinner in there. There we go. It's not that bad, but could be better. Those are his arms. Okay, now, do I want to leave him like that? Okay, let me see. Maybe I'll give him a little bit of a body. It's not actually so much of a ghost in this one, but he is who he is, a pirate. He's not Jack Sparrow, I'll tell you that. Let's see. The rest of his. I'm not going to give a whole lot of a body to him. I don't know how skinny, how big he was. He just had a big presence. Enough to intimidate. And scare other pirates, other vessels. So there we go. I'm just going to give him that much. And then he would probably have like a sword or something over here. So I'll just do the handle part. I'm not going to do the whole thing. Like I said, I don't know what the YouTube will accept and not accept. So let's just say that's his right there. That's his sword. And that's where I'm going to stop for now. That looks half decent. I'll pull these guys back out. And this is Blackbeard. Looks pretty menacing, don't you think? Okay, well, that's the end of that one. We'll have another one, I guess, tomorrow. I'm not sure about the weekend, if I'm going to be doing any over the weekend, because we have a pretty busy weekend. So tomorrow we'll be doing another one of these out of this book, and with a sketch. And I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see all of you in the next one. Bye bye for now. Thank you.